G'day everyone, welcome back to another video, and today I'll be doing my first ever A-Leagues Man Isuzu prediction in this competition. I've heard last week's matches was in a fashion of epic style of contest. This now is my first ever prediction I'm going to go with throughout the teams that I will be winning in this round of round 4. So why don't we get straight to it and predict the teams that is going to win in this round 4 fixture. So we start off with round 4, following at Friday 10th of November. It is Melbourne Victory versus Wellington Phoenix. Now this is the starting off with Friday night match with Victory and Phoenix. These two have like massive games throughout last week. Phoenix with thumping over Brisbane Roar 5-2 at their home ground at New Zealand. This is the game that Phoenix is looking forward to, as well as the Melbourne Victory. They've had an original rivalry game. This has to be one of the original rivals, one for the ages. Unfortunately, it was 1-1 all. They've received their first draw in this competition. Melbourne Victory, they've been throughout the fire over the last 2 weeks ago. They start off really high. Same as the Wellington, not as well far, but I had a feeling these two is going to be a close match. Oscar Zawada had a great game last week against Brisbane Roar. He's been enormous so far in the Wellington Phoenix, and you got to give the fact that Melbourne Victory has been the factors in the A-League's men competition. They show no signs of whatsoever who they really are in the fixture. Unfortunately, Melbourne Victory fallen short with Bruno Fornali with leading not like really that long in the second half. Until then, Adelaide United responded with 1-1. Victory wasn't surprised about that performance, but they should be given their heads over what they achieved. I don't know, it's going to be a close one, but I'm going to go with Melbourne Victory over Wellington Phoenix 1-0 for this one, since they're playing at Amy Park once again. Now following up through with Saturday 11th November, it is Western United taking on Newcastle Jets. The Jets somehow didn't last long when they were leading against the West Sydney Wanderers, and I'll tell you what, Newcastle should have won that against West Sydney Wanderers, but somehow their defense form wasn't the case that they were seeing, because they knew the Wanderers had their attacking form aggressively in the second half, and they showed no signs. What they found was agitating for the Newcastle Jets. But to be fair, I think it was a fair contest between Newcastle Jets so far. I think Newcastle shows some signs what they've done against the Wanderers, but I think they should do something against Western United. But nevertheless, Newcastle were very happy just to get like a 1 point shared against the Wanderers. But they do need to learn. But they need to show the case of what they need to work on with their defending when it comes to when they're leading in the minute. But you know, what can you do? Mistakes happens for Newcastle Jets. There's still hope for them to get themselves on the board once again. I'm gonna go with it's a tough one to call, since Western United need a respond for a win, since they've lost to MacArthur in a last minute of a game. So it was a heartbreaking moment. I'm gonna go with Jets, probably say 2-1 for this one. Now following up through in the afternoon, it is Western Sydney Wanderers taking on Perth Glory, my local team, the Red and Black. Now this is the sign that Western Sydney Wanderers need to do. Last week was pathetic as well when we up against Newcastle away game. Now this is the game that is really important to get ourselves a good boost before the upcoming match against Sydney FC next couple of weeks. We've seen Perth Glory as well. They've washed up the champions Central Coast Mariners. So this is the sign that we need to win, so that we get really prepared against Sydney FC for the Sydney Derby game. I'm not really too confident on what happened over the last week against Newcastle. And I'll be real for you guys. As a Wanderers supporter, I've never seen the Red and Black has beaten Perth Glory since I watching A-League, when I supported the Western Sydney Wanderers at the first place. getting beaten and losing to Perth Glory once in my entire goddamn life. So this would be a good opportunity if Western Sydney Wanderers beat Perth Glory, just to give my experience on what it feels like to be supported in the Western Sydney Wanderers jersey. But nevertheless, the defending and the passing needs to be worked on with, and our attacking is really efficient since Marco Redan put up with another strategy that they can strategize with that form. This is another cracking game that should be really important for the red and black, but I think it might be 1-0 for this one, since it's going to be one back and forth opportunity shots. Now following up with through the after night game, it is Adelaide United taking on the struggling Sydney FC. The sides that Sydney FC wasn't really expecting for that result last week against Melbourne City. They've been absolutely shattered, falling apart, 3 straight losses in a row. That's the biggest loss in the record in this history of club. Sydney FC, they just can't find a way to get themselves on the board, and they haven't scored a single goal over the past 3 straight games. Sydney FC had created a lot of chance last week against Melbourne City. Joe Lawley doing everything he can to put themselves on the board, but they can't get not a single goal throughout this whole half. And it's been a struggle in the streets for Sydney FC. I don't know what's happening with them, to be fair, but as a Wanderers supporters, we should be happy with what's happening with them so far. But it's not looking good for Sydney FC as well. It may be early season for them, but their early signs is being aware with. Like, after this poor result for Sydney FC is not the case that they wanted it. This is a never say never for Sydney FC to get themselves off the board and get off the wooden spoon once again when they take on this juggernaut team of Adelaide United at their home ground. United showed fearsome against Melbourne Victory at the original rivalry game. And this is the fascinating sides that they needed, but I'm saying the Reds are going to be too strong for the Sky Blues. They're walking away. They're going to run away with a point by a 2-0 against Sydney FC. So now we head into Amy Park once again. It is Melbourne City taking on MacArthur Bulls in the Amy Park Stadium. Now these two sides have showed their good signs in last week against the opposing teams with their matches. Both of them showing good signs in a fashion style of performance. Now I'm thinking this would be a game that will be so interesting, because both of them have won the games in last week. This should be the games that they'll be important to rack up with back-to-back wins. But Melbourne City were impressive last week against Sydney FC, just trashing them in a fashion style of clash of performance with Melbourne City, the City Boys of course. And Jamie McLaren was really impressive against Sydney FC. When I was watching that game on my live stream, if you guys didn't see it, it's on my live if you go to it. But oh my, Jamie McLaren was impressive. Like at the 28 seconds, he scored one just for himself, just to get Melbourne City to extend the lead. That made a huge surprising for Sydney FC. That pays the price for them. So Jamie McLaren, he's been impressive. But I'm thinking Melbourne City would run away with a point, with maybe three points to 1. And now we finish it off with Sunday night, 12th of November. It is Central Coast, the struggling team as well, the champions, up against Brisbane Roar. The Coast Mariners, they've fallen apart. Like 2 games, the champions are off the march right now, and it's really satisfying that the champions haven't won a game last 3 straight games. So this is a really promising sign for the championships, for the champion side to redeem themselves. A win against Brisbane Roar, but I do have a feeling that Central Coast Mariners are capable of what they're doing when they're attacking, because I know they have the greater strategy. When the interception happens, they know what the realization goes with. It's quite fascinating of how they play. But in the end, Central Coast, the Mariners haven't quite sealed the case, sealed that score. What they needed expectations on. But I don't know, man. All I can say is the champions need to win this game so that they can get themselves on the board. This is going to be maybe a draw, so I'm going to go with 1-1 to end this round 4 fixture of the men's ISSU game competition. So this was my A-Leagues men competition prediction on who's going to win next week at round 4. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you don't know, so I'll just announce that I'll be at the Wanderers game between West Sydney and Perth Glow, and if you guys do see me, I'm going to be at the RBB aisle, so come do see me if you have the chance to, whether you can or not. But yeah, if you do enjoy this video, make sure you drop a like and turning that notification on, turning that subscribe button so you never miss any videos that I'm going to be uploading throughout in this channel. But yeah guys, I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'll catch you guys there, and match day vlog will be coming soon. Cheers.